Hi, I'm Dave. We're making video games. Specifically, we're making Sandcaster. So, if you've been following along in previous videos, I've got some exciting news. The demo. Look at this. The demo is live on Steam. It's pretty exciting. There is some bad news. It is unexpectedly quite rough around the edges. So I just want to. So before anyone runs off to the Steam page, I just want to. I just want to caveat some things. So like, those sound effects are still really loud. Let's turn those down. Just make quiet. Okay, so look at this. Like, our shadow has disappeared. His shadow also disappeared. There is some kind of crazy screen tearing, especially with some of the camera shakes. Looks like some of the sound effects have not been hooked up to the sound effects bus yet. And then, so there's some screen tearing, there's some shadows missing, there's particle effects that are just gone. Oh gosh, it's loud too. And some of the lighting effects on our camera are also just not there. Oh, we do have new enemies though. Whoop. So this is kind of following in. We added 2 new enemies. There's like the one that charges at you. Yeah, so you can notice these strange blinking lights. Why is that happening? Who knows? Who knows? And I think I said earlier, I do the art. I do the art and not the programming. So that is solidly that's solidly something that is Sal's problem and not my problem. So that's good. That's the silver lining here. So this is the actual current state of the demo. And I'm showing you guys this just to kind of compare. So we got our shadows. Everyone's got their shadows. That's good. The lighting inside the dungeon. The lighting inside the dungeon is also much better. I have not gone through the process of shipping a game, or at least, or like building it. So I never know how much back and forth there is between what's in Unity and what shows up in the final build. Like, see, we have these nice, we have this nice lighting over here instead of like the choppy flickering in and out. Yeah, I'm not sure what the deal is with that. So I'm just showing you some of the other new stuff. We have a couple new enemies. Open this door. We also have a lot of new animations in. So we've got our new punch animation. We've got our new run animation. I think we talked about the bumping into the wall animation. Yep. All right, so check out these guys. So we have these guys that are, they kind of look like rhinos. They will run at you, and they're kind of beefy. They're a little spongy. And I have died in this room before, so it's a little more difficult. This guy will kind of try and keep his distance from you, and he will spawn rocks at you. Thinking of doing the Hollow Knight thing. Oh, it's gonna kill me because I'm not paying attention. Thinking of doing the Hollow Knight thing where like maybe when he throws something at you and you hit it, it bounces back or bounces towards a nearby enemy. That could be cool. And I think I've shown you the big enemy. So those are the 2 new enemies. And he was throwing rocks at us, and I think is this broken? Yeah, that's broken. He was throwing rocks at us like the frog tower, and I'm going to make a new projectile today and just go through the modeling process and the texturing process, just a short snippet version, and that'll be the next part. So I'm going to pause and we'll get that set up. last week-ish, these are kind of on a weekly cadence, I was just doing a bunch of little sketches for different gobo hats, and I came across this this kind of goggles one I thought would be good for like a marksman, someone who's doing projectiles at you. And so this is kind of where we ended up with the model. So very, very simple. It's really only these extra things. And I ended up giving him just these little hair tufts. Because when he was bald, it looked a little weird. And I added a bit extra to the rig. So now when the hat bone, since his hat is removed, when his hat bone moves, the hair moves. And so that just gives like a little secondary animation to all of his motions. Let's see if I can find one real quick here. Yeah, like here. So you can see his little hairs move and rotate around a little bit. This kind of shows you too just how much like squash and stretch there is. When it happens really fast, you can't see it too much, but he's pretty exaggerated. Blonk. Blonk. That's fine. Okay, anywho, so let's go back. So this guy, in the demo, he's throwing rocks, which is just kind of like an all-purpose projectile that we had. But I want to give him, because, you know, they're in a dungeon, they're like excavating, they're up to no good. I wanted to give him a little pickaxe, and so we'll just go through the process of doing that. I think every 3D modeler, there's a couple assets that they've made just a million times, you know, like boxes or crates or swords or coins. And pickaxes, for whatever reason, is one of those where I've modeled like half a dozen different pickaxes. So I probably don't need to do a sketch, but I'm going to do it anyways, because sometimes, like, you just I don't know, if you try and design and model at the same time, it often just ends up feeling like pretty stiff. So these things are going to be like spinning in the air. So I want it to be pretty chunky, like a real pickaxe might come out like this far. But we're going to do something a little more compact, a little more toy-like. So these are kind of roughly the proportions I'm thinking. This thick bit is the bit that goes around the wood, and then these bits are the metal bits. So I'm drawing here, but I'm also looking here because it's just easier to identify size relationships of things when it's really small and you can kind of see it all at the same time. Make this a bit bigger, I think. So yeah, that's good enough. That's good enough. It doesn't have to be super pretty. This is just for me. And then I can, if I want to test how it looks together, make a duplicate. And then I'll shrink this one down next to my gobo, just to see how they look next to each other. Make sure the amount of detail here is kind of copacetic with the density and size of shapes here. I'm thinking that looks fine. All right, so let's just export this so I have something to work off of in Blender. File, save as, pickaxe. Oh wait, I don't want it. I don't need a Photoshop file, I just need a PNG. All right. So then we go into Blender. Get out pose mode. And I'm gonna make a new folder for this. I could put this in like my bigger assets folder, but since it has to have the same size relationship and be scaled appropriately for this enemy, and I don't want to do any just scaling in Unity, I'm going to try and put them together so it's exported at the right scale. All right, so let's bring in our image as a reference and pickaxe here. Why is pickaxe not there? Did I? Oh, gosh, probably exported it in the wrong file. Yes, wrong file again. I wish Adobe would keep better track of like which files, which projects are in, and then just kind of take you there automatically instead of having to go through the tree every time. Okay, Gobo, pickaxe. All right. There we go. I swear this exporting thing is not a bit. I'm not doing it on purpose. It just happens this way. There we go. Okay. So there's my reference. I want it to be about this big. Think about that big is correct. And I want it to pivot kind of around that point. So hide the Gobo, hide all of his stuff. Okay, so take our reference and make it semi-transparent. And more or less center it. There we go. So I actually have 2 dogs in my house today. I have my dog Ollie, and then we're taking care of a friend's dog Fred. And Fred is just it's just an absolute angel. But my dog Ollie has decided that every time Fred moves, he must bark. So that's fun. All right. Why did that scale? Funnily, all right. Oh, that's why. Right, so I like to do there we go. I like to do it's called, some people call it like a sub-D workflow or a subdivided surface workflow. Sorry, I'm just adjusting my settings so that I can see a little better. There we go. I'll give this material too, just so I can see it. Good enough. So this will probably have just like 1 subdivision level on it. So I like to do this because instead of like sculpting sculpting complicated forms or just needing to manage lots of points at the same time, a sub-D workflow lets you just worry about fewer points. So it's like, oh, I only have a couple edge loops to worry about to get this nice smooth shape. I think I might do maybe 2 levels. Yeah, and I think I'll probably squish this down a bit. Cool. Oh, Ollie. So this is going to give us more verts than we need, and so I'll probably come in and delete a couple after I finalize the shape. I'm sorry about Ollie. My theory is that he's kind of jealous of this new dog. Like, what? Someone other than me is getting attention? I cannot let this stand. Only I deserve love. Okay. So this is the top part. So we'll go through the same process. My modeling process is mostly boxes. So it's like make a cube, add some modifiers to it, squish it around a bit. Maybe add some edge loops. Seeing how this looks at all angles. Maybe that. And like this is, again, this is gonna be like really I might even make the other one lower polygon, I think. Let's try that. Because, yeah, this is going to be small. These are going to be small. They're going to be moving fast, so we don't really need all that extra information. I think that'll be fine, especially when we do some edge smoothing. So I think I will, just to make it more appealing, I'll just add another loop here just to push it out. Like, here. See this, like, this nice curve? Kind of makes things look slightly like slightly inflated, which is just a way of making things look like a little cuter. Bring our reference back up. Yeah, so our reference is it's rough, it's not symmetrical, so that's okay. I don't need to follow exactly the lines. Okay, cool. And then we'll make these little guys. Another cube. Bring it up. And I'm just gonna cheat and mirror it. It might be cuter if it was asymmetrical, but again, this is just a small prop. And this is I'm imagining that this is going to be spinning. So it'll be kind of difficult to see this. Anyway, all right. There, not bad. Maybe I should I thicken that up? Maybe a little bit. Maybe just like this. And I do like that it tapers a bit as it goes down. Taper that in the Y. Ollie. What are you doing, buddy? Okay, and then this, I think I might bevel this. He heard me. We also have hardwood floors in my home, and so you just hear little dog paws. Click, 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 click. All day. In the Sandcaster household. Move this over just a little bit. Down. It's all right, Ollie. It's only temporary. Okay. Yeah. Man, oh, that's looking maybe a little too cute. This is looking maybe a little like a little bit too play school. So let us, what should we do? I think if we make these a little bigger. Oops. Maybe a little pointier. That'll kind of age it up a bit. Yeah, that's a little better. We'll have to see though. Sometimes things look good in one context, and then you get them in the game, and it's like, oh, it's too big or it's too distracting, and then you have to iterate. That's probably the thing I'm learning the most. The more game dev I do, is just iteration is inescapable, I think. All right, that's looking pretty good. So this, we'll call this one pickaxe working, in case I have to come back and iterate on it, just like I said. And then we'll make a duplicate. Call this pickaxe collapse. All right. Turn that off. Okay, cool. So now we're going to collapse down a lot of these modifiers. Check that I just don't have too much stuff. Like, see this? We don't need that. We can dissolve that. Oops. Dissolve it in line mode. Dissolve edges. Whoops. Whoa, whoa, sorry. Just hitting control. All right. It's pretty good. We probably don't need this one either. Because again, it's going to be going pretty fast. I might move this down. Sweet. Let's see, auto shade smooth. Let's see if there's a good angle that. Okay, let's see. Instead, I think what I'm going to do is say I want those edges to be sharp. And I want these edges to be sharp. The rest can be rounded. Sweet. This one, let's see. This one probably has too much geometry. We get rid of this one. Yeah, that's fine, I think. Like, and we're not pushing graphic boundaries at all, so I'm not really worried about my vert count and stuff because we're pretty slim. But if I don't think this is really going to make a difference. Okay, the mirror. So I'm gonna get rid of this one, and I'm going to mark these corners as sharp. Excellent. Okay, and then we're going to collapse the mirror modifier. So far, so good. All right. Now we're gonna UV unwrap this guy. So I think we're gonna make a seam here on the top. And yeah, probably one here. Bottom. Doing along the side. That's one piece. This piece will do the same thing. Go along the top, bottom. Now these guys, actually, I don't even think I have to UV unwrap these ones because I think due to the method we're going to use. All right, so let me pause while I dig through my folders to find the shaders I've already made that I want to use. Starting recording in 3, 2, 1, and we're back. Okay. Oh, I made some truly awful coffee this morning. Oh. Okay. So I uploaded some images from my kit and just created some mock-up shaders to kind of go through this process. Okay, so the first one, we'll do this haft. So this is just a tiling, low contrast tiling wood texture that I made a while ago, and you'll see it throughout the demo. So first we're gonna, grab this wraparound piece here, and we'll do right angle based. Let's see how it looks from here. So we might want something a little smaller, maybe a little wider. So, and again, this is going to be moving pretty fast. So, it's okay if it doesn't quite make sense. We just want something that feels like wood. That's fine. We could make it neater. We could But you know, if you make every asset perfect, you will go insane. And I'm gonna try and avoid that. Like my partners could actually tell you that I'm a perfectionist and I like to redo things lots of times. And if they're not as good as they possibly could be, it really bugs me quite a bit. So, but I'm gonna fight that. So here's the top. The top I just want to be a lighter color, so I'm just gonna shrink this all down. Just place it like in here. So it looks, yeah. So it looks like lighter. Same with this part. View, project from view. Just find a little home for this guy. All right, first part complete. All right, so the second one, so this has like a whole big image texture that this is drawing from. We're gonna do a different method for these guys. So these have a different texture. It's like a texture atlas. Where are you? Here we go. Boop. Look at how, so this atlas is like 16 pixels by 16 pixels. It's very small. And so what we're going to do, what we do is unwrap it from here. And as we make this really small, you'll notice something kind of cool start to happen. Turn that off so you can see. Do you see there's a gradient here? If I turn the lighting off, you'll see it a bit better. So that's flat. There you go. So yeah, do you see this gradient? The gradient is happening because gradient's happening. Let's see if we want to move it down a little bit, maybe. Yeah, let's move this down. The gradient is happening because this is such a low resolution image that the anti-aliasing between pixels is causing this gradient, which is super duper handy, because having smooth gradients, like having an image texture that's a nice smooth gradient, it takes a lot of resolution, and resolution means computational power. So here I can take this little top bit. So I'm grabbing the vertices from just the top, and I'm moving them up from the rest, which is down here. So now this is just slightly lighter than this, and so we can kind of fake the lighting and fake the ambient occlusion without baking ambient occlusion maps, which is also just, well, first off, baking is just one more step you have to worry about. And second, it's just more stuff you have to have in your computer. Okay, so the parts that are pointing down going to be darker, then there's a slight gradient, and then the part that's pointing up is going to be lighter. And then we have our asset. So we're going to do the same with this guy. We'll, let's see, let's project from view this way. Oh, did I collapse the mirror? I did. Okay, well, we're just going to do this once, and then we'll mirror it again. Let's get you, delete it. Okay, so you, project from view, and we'll rotate you this way. Shrink it down. So we're going to make it that, like, the part that's butting up against this is going to be just a hair darker. Maybe. That's pretty good. And then we'll grab these faces that are on the top. Boop, boop, boop. And translate them upwards, which will make them lighter. Like that. And these ones that are on the bottom, grab these. And translate them downwards, which will make them darker. Oh. Much darker. Go like this dark. Oh gosh. And this face we'll do in the middle. This one right here. If you ever buy a Cinti asset pack, which while I don't love the way they look, if you buy them, you'll see that they do this sort of thing. With too much contrast. A little darker. So look at that. I think that's pretty cool. Like all of this is just happening with with like like 20 pixels. And this shader currently is unlit. So you're getting kind of all that nice AO for free, and then this is what happens when you put the lighting back on. I will re-mirror it. Boop. Apply. And that is that. Okay, and then we're just going to merge. I think I'm going to merge this all together. It's oh, I know what happened. It's because the reason this changed is because the smooth shading setting was applied to all the meshes equally, and they weren't all using the same setting. So I just have to go in and mark these edge loops as sharp again. If I can do it. Oops. You. Oh, that's right. Mark sharp. And you guys. Mark sharp. And then probably also need to do it here. Mark sharp. Oh, you can't see because of the UV unwrapped. Okay. Yeah, and I think that's looking pretty good. Okay, so there is our little pickaxe. Now I'm just going to export it and get it in the engine. And then I'll pick up with you guys there. All right, we're back in Unity. We've got our model in there, exported like a pro, no problems at all. First try. Right, so here's our model. So here are our material slots. So we'll take our steel atlas. So these are things I've made before. Pop it in there. Boop, there it is. And we will take our, I think it's called low contrast wood. That might be, is that part of outside? Brick boards. Let's just try low contrast. There we go. Put that on there. Boop. And there you have it. That is our sweet pickaxe that will be thrown at you by our little gobos. And so that's it today. It's short and sweet, I think, I hope. And just another reminder, if you don't mind, please give us a like and a follow. Go to our Steam page, Sandcaster, and Wishlist. And play the demo, but just keep your expectations nice and low because it is not polished at this point. And what is this doing here? Why are these guys out here? Why did Sal put these guys out here? That looks really bad. Jeez. Right, anyway, sorry. So yeah, like, wish list, subscribe. We need 10,000 wish lists to start pursuing a publisher, and that would be awesome. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys later.